Yeah, John did. It's on, we're loaded, good to go.
Took Bruce's place.
I'm Bruce.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Bruce.
Good to see you, Nico. Bruce. I'm Bruce today.
I wouldn't mind being Misty. That'd be okay.
Good time.
Seconds. All right, good morning. It's now 9 a.m. The monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. This morning's meeting is open to all members of the community club and is being recorded for viewing on the community club website. We are also live streaming this morning's meeting for member viewing. To honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence to remember those who are serving in uniform and defending freedom. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, please call the roll of the board members.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Floyd,
Present.
Mrs. Galloway, Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mrs. Miller,
Here.
Mrs. Starr,
Here.
Mr. Wedgeworth.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have 5 board members present, therefore we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Pat. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our June 23rd, 2022 meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the June 23rd minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes of the June 23rd meeting are approved. This morning in the audience, Mayor Foster has another engagement this morning, but our Commissioner Colleen Mall is here. Do you have any comments that you want to share, Colleen?
Just,
If you don't mind.
it's a long way.
Well, I'm not Mayor Foster. I'm Colleen Mall. But just 2 things. You know, it's early voting right now, so please get out and cast your vote. And it's at North Shore Lane, the new voting. And the second thing is that there's a special call meeting of the commission on August the 2nd to approve the county budget. So that special call meeting is at 4:30, followed by the commission meeting for voting on the county budget. That's it. I think
Okay.
maybe that's all he would say.
All right. Yes, sure.
Uh-oh. I was going to ask Mayor, we have the new restaurant, Highway 55, Chick-fil-A's coming in, and Buc-ee's is now operational. Could you give us kind of an estimate of how much property tax that's going to generate for the county and how much sales tax we would get on a yearly basis? Has the county done some projections on that?
Yeah, the budget is based on a 10% increase in taxes for this year, including Buc-ee's. And I can't quote the exact estimates that we're expecting will come in. We think, with the budget committee, we think that it will be higher, but we are conservatively estimating a 10% increase. And our finance director had researched other similar areas where there was a Buc-ee's and a Chick-fil-A, so we based those estimates off of that. So we're really hoping that, and you know, most of that money goes to the schools, which is a good thing. So we're really encouraged about the new things coming in. We have a lot of new things coming in. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Colleen. I'd like to share the following comments from across the board. As Colleen mentioned, we want to remind everyone that Election Day for Cumberland County officials in the state of Tennessee primaries is Thursday, August 4th. Now, on August 4th, you will need to vote at your designated polling location. Early voting began on July 15th and runs through this Saturday, July 30th. Early voting is conducted at the Cumberland County Election Commission offices. Recently, we have had a couple of pet nuisance incidents reported in Fairfield Glade, and we want to outline exactly what should occur if you are involved in a pet nuisance situation. We've included a link to the Fairfield Glade pet nuisance policy for your information that references both the covenants and restrictions as well as the Tennessee state law. It is important that a pet nuisance incident be reported to our Fairfield Glade Police Department as soon as possible after the incident. Our officers will respond to the scene, tend to any injuries, assist in incident interviews, and will capture the animal if possible and then turn it over to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office Animal Control. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office Animal Control will respond immediately if there is an active attack or will follow up if time has passed. Our officers will also issue an internal Fairfield Glade Community Club pet nuisance violation notice if the owner of the animal is known. Precautions that you can take when you are walking or hiking are to be fully aware of your surroundings at all times. And if you see an unleashed animal, take steps to avoid contact with the animal. You may want to carry a walking stick and animal repellent spray, as well as making sure you have your cell phone with you to document any situation. If you're involved in an animal attack, immediately call 911 and report the incident. We're continuing to search for our new food and beverage director, and with the departure of the food and beverage director, we'll continue to focus all our attention on operating Stonehenge Grill in a manner that delivers the level of service and quality that our members expect and deserve. 2022 Board of Directors elections. This year we will elect one director at large and the interval owner representative and the developer or declarant representative to the board. We have 3 candidates for the director at large seat. They are Hank Henning, Bruce Horn, and Karen Schrack. And Meet the Candidates event is scheduled for tonight, Thursday, July 28th at 6:30 here at the center. The Meet the Candidates event will be live streamed and will be recorded for member viewing. Electronic balloting begins on Monday, August 8th and ends on Friday, September 2nd. The results of the election will be announced at the 2022 annual membership meeting held at 10 o'clock on Friday, September 16th. Newly elected members of the Board of Directors begin their term of office at the annual membership meeting and participate in the election of the Board of Directors officers immediately following the annual membership meeting. Officers of the Board of Directors serve for a 1-year term. As community members, each of us has the responsibility to do our homework on each of the candidates. The candidates' applications are posted on the Community Club website. Each of the candidates has had an opportunity to respond to a series of questions from the election committee, which are also posted on the Community Club website. Research their positions on the topics you feel are important, and then make an informed decision relative to which candidate deserves your support and, more importantly, your vote. The outcome of the elections have consequences, and the future of Fairfield Glade depends on your participation in our election process. As we have stressed, the current rate of inflation is significantly affecting the cost of construction. We continue to reevaluate all our current and proposed 2022 and 2023 major capital projects to reassess their priorities in order to keep expenditures within our capital expense budget. And here are the latest updates on those major capital projects. The Racket Center We have completed most of the landscaping and the paving of both Racket Center parking lots, and this project is now complete for all intents and purposes. We have assessed the initial construction bids for the next phase of the Robin Hood Park expansion project for a pavilion with restrooms, bocce ball courts, and hard surface paths. We are awaiting the results of the value engineering efforts by the architect and the winning bidder for individual elements of the project. We will be reevaluating the timing of our next steps in the process and may consider deferring elements of the work until next year due to the rise in construction costs. We are also awaiting the results of the value engineering efforts by the architect and winning bidder for elements of the project for renovations and updates to Heatherhurst Snack Bar area. The current cost estimates exceed our project budget, requiring us to reevaluate the project's priority. Actual construction will be deferred at a minimum until the end of the 2022 golf season. The funding for the St. George Marina building project is also being reevaluated to determine whether we will schedule construction work at the end of the 2022 season or defer the project until 2023. The Druid Hills planning team continues to work on the initial planning process to determine the next Druid Hills clubhouse facility should provide for our growing community. The steering committee, food and beverage committee, and the golf committee met with the land planning consultant this month to review the preliminary draft of the land use plan. Attendees took the opportunity to give direct feedback and make suggestions to the land use consultant on how the preliminary plan could be improved. The updated draft plan should be received within the next couple of weeks. The committees are working to be able to present the land use plan at the annual meeting in September. The Golf Committee and the Food and Beverage Committee have either visited or are in the process of scheduling visits to other clubs and facilities to get ideas on our new facilities at Druid Hills. There will be an initial survey sent out to property owners in the next couple of weeks to better understand our members' use of our food and beverage venues and to help develop the requirements for the Druid Hills food and beverage operation. Members who'd like to share additional comments regarding the Druid Hills project can reach out to the Druid Hills planning team by sending email messages to the planning team at druidhillsprojects@fairfieldglade.cc. Information concerning the Druid Hills Advanced Planning Team is also available on the Community Club website. And that is our July update from across the board. Okay, this morning, the Treasurer's Report is going to be delivered by Amy Kincaid, who is our Director of Finance.
Good morning. Can you hear me? As you can see, Fairfield Glade remains strong through the first half of 2022. The balance sheet in sewer, we have $4.4 million in total cash compared to $3.5 million at the end of June in 2021. This is a positive variation of approximately $900,000. For the Property Owners Association and amenities, we have $2.4 million of capital cash plus $6.2 million of operating cash for a total of $8.6 million cash compared to $6.3 at the end of June of 2021, positive variation of $2.3 million. The cash flow, sewer has a positive year-end forecast to budget of $15,000 after 6 months of operations, with revenues driven by continued increases of tap fees from new home starts as compared to the budget. On the negative side, sewer is experiencing increased costs for materials, especially in the grinder pump area. The POA continues in positive direction after 6 months of operations, with a year-end positive variance to forecast to budget of $500,000. Open positions account for a majority of the savings, while higher than expected insurance and utility costs are the major expense increases. Amenities also has a positive year-end forecast variance budget of $100,000. Golf continues to represent the majority of this positive variation with a forecast of $168,000, driven by 3,400 more rounds than budget to date. We continue to see an increase of cost of sales in the food and beverage, as we're all experiencing this as we go to the grocery store. POA and amenities year-end forecasted variance after 6 months of operations is favorable to budget of $629,000. We've had a very strong first half of the year, which positions us very well to finish the year in a strong financial position. Please note that in addition to the normal reports, this is a quarterly report. You have the cash bar chart, the debt chart, PP&E, equity, golf, food and beverage dashboards, and a capital project update. Does anybody have any questions?
Amy, on the forecast that you have for POA and amenities, the favorable $629,000, how much is that per dues paying lot? Is it about $4 a month in that range?
I would have to get back to you on that. Any other questions?
Okay, thanks, Amy. The next item on the agenda is the general manager's report. Bob?
Okay, thank you. With respect to asphalt road paving, we're about 67% complete, but Rogers Group had to roll off to finish the intersection for Buc-ee's and other projects that took priorities. We don't have a return date yet. They have indicated to Sam that should be within the next 2 to 3 weeks, so we'll see. The county road superintendent has not been able to give us a firm start date for the chip and seal program, so that is still up in the air as to whether we're going to get any chip and seal done this year, but we're still continuing to push them and ask them almost on a weekly basis the status of that. Other items, year-to-date golf rounds through last month were about 69,000. It's about 3,400 more than budget, so we're having a very good year in golf as reflected on the forecast for the end of the year. And for the year, average rounds per course per day open were 115 compared to 116 in 2021, so about the same. And then we plan to continue our current yard waste curbside pickup program in August as we continue to look for the best long-term solution for that. So we're looking at various options for a long-term solution. That is all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bob. The resort report. Barb?
Good morning. Wyndham timeshare visitors year-to-date is 28,521. Month-to-date, 2,439. Amenities, the center, year-to-date, $11,247, which is 5% of like revenue. Racket, $5,627, which is 4%. Dartmoor Marina, $55,955, which is 36%. St. George, $19,828, which is 15%. Golf is $315,943, which is 9%. And food is $188,808, which is 25% of like revenue, for a total of year-to-date $598,418, which is an average of 12%. That means that the timeshares are contributing approximately $50,000 per month to our budget. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Okay, the architectural control report. Sam?
Thank you. For the architectural control report this month, I have miscellaneous approval, which are changes to houses that are currently completed. Through June is 678. Through the same time last year is 979. New homes approved through this year is 63. Last year, same time, was 58. New homes completed this year, 63, and last year was 43. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sam. On the agenda this morning, we have 2 items of unfinished business. The first one is the consideration of the revised fence policy. That revision was presented at the May 26, 2022 board meeting and has been posted for member comment. John, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, that's been posted for over almost 60 days. We received 4 comments from our residents. 2 of them didn't have to do with the fence policy. The other 2 we responded to. So with that, at this time, I would like to make a motion that we approve the revised fence policy.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the revised fence policy is approved. The second item for consideration under unfinished business is the revised invasive species policy revision. That was also posted on May 26, 2022 at the board meeting and has been posted on the member website for comment. And John, were there any comments on that one?
Yeah, we received 8 comments. Half of those didn't reply to the species policy, so we answered the other 4, so.
Okay.
I would like to add that the primary reason of revising this policy was to put in pictures so that members, if they were concerned, would have a better perception of what those invasive species were. And that's the major change that occurred. Therefore, I move that we accept the changed, revised invasive species policy.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion from the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, under new business, we have one new purchase requisition, and that is the engineering study for the sewer extension in the Beechwood Drive, Golden Court, Easton Court, and Eastern Circle areas, and that's in the amount of $5,800. Bruce, did you want to speak to that?
So it's a PR for engineering by McGill Engineers out of Knoxville for $5,800 for design work and permitting from TDEC for a sewer extension on Beechwood Drive of 955 feet, Golden Court of 500 feet, Easton Circle of 745 feet, and Easton Court of 250 feet. This is just for engineering and permitting. Should the PR be accepted, then the work will be, or PR will be presented for the work which will be completed with in-house staff.
Okay.
Current budget is $142,770, so we're well within the budget.
All right. Are there any questions for Bruce? Then may I have a motion to approve the...
Before I make the
Go
motion,
ahead.
I'm going to add that, just so everyone's aware, in concert with our guidelines and our policies, we did send out the letters to all homeowners, or I'm sorry, property owners, a couple weeks ago, so they're aware that this is happening. They'll get another letter after this action. So we're keeping people informed so that they know before anything happens exactly what's going on. So with that, I'll make the motion that we approve.
Could you tell us the number of property owners that were notified?
Oh,
48.
Amy, what, do you recall the number?
48.
40, yeah, it was 40-something. I couldn't remember
48.
exactly. Okay, so 48. And Nico, that includes, there's county lots in there, there's other lots, so there's multiple owners, so it's not 48 necessarily individual letters. Okay. So with that, I make a motion that we approve the engineering funds, or the engineering study funds.
I'll second that
Okay.
motion.
Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the PR for the engineering study for the sewer extension in the amount of $5,800 is approved.
Thank you.
We also have a request from the Cumberland County United Fund, and they do an annual door-to-door campaign that happens between September 1st and October 31st, and they have asked for permission to conduct that campaign. So may I have a motion to approve their request.
Motion to approve the Cumberland County United Fund annual door-to-door campaign.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion to that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion to approve the request for the Cumberland County door-to-door campaign is approved. The next item on the agenda is an update from Fairfield Glade Resident Services, and Bruce Horn is here to deliver that.
Good morning. Thank you. The July 14th board meeting of FGRS continued, and this is a continuation of the discussion today about changes, economic changes and the demographic changes and growth in our community. And an item on the agenda at the time was FGRS's response and comments on those changes. And it was resolved that the FGRS will examine what we need to develop, and what we need to continue in our programs. So there's an ongoing effort as well as the board and other agencies to address these changes. On the 14th of July, we participated in the Safety Day, or the Information Fair, in collaboration with the Police Department and Alzheimer's Tennessee. And we had a lot of good responses there with the programs that are being coordinated now with Yellow Dot, Vial of Life, and Silver Alert. And those programs are expanding, and information is online. The forms are online. And now FGRS has implemented a program for our Vial of Life for newer participants and those that are really unsure of how to finish the information or complete it. You can make an appointment for somebody that needs some assistance in filling out those forms. The rest of our programs are going on apace. We're doing very well and very happy with the results. Any questions?
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Now we'll open the floor for comments from individual residents.
I just have a quick question. The discussion of the Druid Hills project, part of the reason for it's taking so long was we had to get a commitment from Anderson about his property. And they were holding up whether or not, where they were going to put the new facility because it might be on the driving range. So do we finally have any commitment from Anderson?
Well, first of all, the driving range area is not going to change at all based upon the Druid Hills project.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just moving the driving range from Tom Anderson's control to our control. And we are in negotiations with Tom to get that done. Okay? And it will not be an issue in holding up the Druid Hills project.
Okay. You've been talking to Anderson for, must be a year and a half now? Are we getting anywhere?
Yeah, and it's going to be a fairly involved arrangement when we're done with it. It's not going to just be, I'm going to give you the driving range.
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you.
Other questions, comments? All right, any comments from members of the board?
Nope.
Okay, with that.
I'll just
okay,
make
yeah.
one about Druid Hills, because I want to set an expectation from the steering committee and the subcommittees. Our intention is to show the land use plan at the annual meeting, but I want to make sure everyone's clear what a land use plan is. It's not, you're not going to see pictures of buildings, you're not going to see level of detail of what's going to be in rooms and that kind of thing. What you're going to see is a layout of big blocks of where things will be, or where we plan on having them be. And so I want to make sure that every time I get an opportunity, just set the expectation that because some people think you're going to see architectural drawings and that type of thing. That will not happen till we actually go out for bid and get an architectural engineer. So what you will see, hopefully at the annual meeting, is a layout of how we plan to use all of that land. Okay? Thank you.
And Greg, you may want to comment about the surveys, the initial survey too, a little bit.
Yeah, and the initial survey is going to be more general in nature, and it's been worked through both the subcommittees of food and beverage and golf. It's mainly really trying to get an idea how our current residents are using those facilities, like how many times do you go out to dinner, what meals do you like to eat out, breakfast, lunch, or dinner? What kinds of meals do you want, like for breakfast? You want just a quick pickup, or you want a full breakfast? It's going to be those kinds of questions. Our intention is to take that information and then start, the subcommittee will work with that, and then start developing more in-depth questions, which we plan on using focus groups and other opportunities to meet with residents to get that more fine-tuned, and then send out additional survey, at least one more, maybe two, that will get more into those details. And as we get more into the details, the business plan will be put together, and you'll start seeing the cost and that type of thing. So this is just the initial one, but please encourage everybody that you know to fill out the survey. The more information we get back, the better we can gauge where the community is.
There's been a number of rumors about when you're going to start demolishing the building. You haven't even left.
No, we don't have a timeline yet because, quite honestly, I think we've been consistent with this. Until we know what the requirements are, there's no sense talking about how we're going to demolish or when we're going to demolish the building. So the emphasis right now is to get, well, what are the requirements? How are we going to use the land, and what do we want on it? Okay?
All right, very good. Then at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is passed. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Gosh, that's one of the quickest ones.
Yeah. Like the good old days.